If you bought a washing machine in the last 10 years, it is likely already showing error codes you cannot diagnose. If you bought a refrigerator after 2015, the compressor is already running on borrowed time. And if you have ever called a repair technician, been quoted more than half the cost of a new unit, and then been told the parts are no longer available, you are not unlucky. You are experiencing a system that was designed to produce exactly that outcome. In this investigation, we are going to expose the machinery behind the parts blackout, the corporate policies, the engineering decisions, and the legal structures that have made modern appliances functionally unrepairable. Not because repair is technically impossible, but because the industry has been quietly, deliberately, and profitably making it so. Let us start with how we got here, because this did not happen by accident. Before 2000, an appliance was a capital purchase. A refrigerator bought in 1975 ran on a cast iron compressor, mechanical relays, and copper refrigerant lines. It lasted 30 to 50 years. The parts were standard. Any competent technician with a set of hand tools could rebuild it on your kitchen floor. Then something shifted. Not in the physics. Physics did not change. What changed was the business model. In 2006, Whirlpool acquired Maytag for approximately $2.6 billion, including assumed debt. Within 3 years, they had closed 3 American factories and shifted a significant portion of final assembly to Mexico and China. Their publicly stated financial targets, documented in their annual reports, centered on operating margin improvement through what they call value engineering. We call it the Great Cheapening. It means systematically replacing every durable component with the cheapest substitute that will survive the warranty period, and not a day longer. That warranty period is the key number: 5 years, sometimes 7. That is not a consumer protection. That is a product design specification. Engineers at these companies are not designing appliances to last as long as possible. They are designing them to last exactly as long as the warranty requires, and then fail in a way that makes repair economically irrational. They want you to repair the unit and pay for parts at 300% markup. They want you to find out the parts are discontinued and buy a new machine instead. Either way, the money flows back to them. The warranty is not a promise. It is a countdown timer. But the business model is only half the problem. The components themselves have been engineered to fail at a specific, predictable moment. And the evidence is sitting inside every appliance in your home right now. Start with your refrigerator. If you purchased an LG after 2014, and that includes units sold under the Kenmore label, there is a linear compressor inside it. Not the cast iron and steel reciprocating compressor that powered refrigerators for 50 years. A sealed housing containing a piston, a magnet assembly, and a lubrication system that has proven inadequate in practice. The piston wears. The solder joints crack from thermal expansion, and somewhere between 3 and 5 years in, the unit stops cooling entirely. Total failure. No warning. The repair cost for a linear compressor assembly runs between $500 and $800 in parts alone. Add labor, and you are looking at $800 to $1,200 on a unit that cost $1,500 new and is now worth roughly $100 in scrap value. A viewer named John from Ohio documented exactly this on the appliance repair forums. His 2020 LG compressor failed at 4 years. When he called LG for the part, they told him it was obsolete. 4 years old. Obsolete. This is not a product defect in isolation. LG settled a class action lawsuit in 2020 covering roughly 1.6 million refrigerators manufactured between 2014 and 2017. The settlement acknowledged the defective design. No recall was ever ordered. The no-admit clause meant they paid the money and kept selling the same design. Millions of families, hundreds of millions of dollars in consumer losses. And the compressor is still in production. Now open your washing machine. If it was built after 2012 by Whirlpool, and that includes Maytag, KitchenAid, and Amana, all the same corporate family, It contains a main control board designated W107800045 or a close variant. That board is built on a standard FR4 printed circuit board using surface mount capacitors. Those capacitors contain electrolytic fluid. Every time the machine runs a hot cycle, those capacitors heat up. Every time the cycle ends, they cool down. That thermal cycling degrades the electrolyte. After 4 to 7 years, the capacitors begin to leak. You start seeing error codes, F3, E28, that appear and disappear. Then one day, the machine simply stops. That board costs $250 to $400 to replace. Whirlpool will sell it to you for 7 years. After that, it is discontinued. And here is what makes this specific failure criminal rather than merely incompetent. Before 2000, that board did not exist. In its place was a mechanical timer, gears, springs, contacts, a machine any technician could service with a $20 part. The mechanical timer lasted 30 years or more. They replaced it not because the digital board performs better. They replaced it because it costs $15 to manufacture. It fails predictably, and it cannot be repaired, only replaced. Whirlpool has faced class action litigation over these exact board failures. No recall, no redesign. Now open your dishwasher. If you own a Bosch built after 2015, look at the spray arm system. The impeller that drives water through the upper spray arm is made of ABS plastic. It costs the manufacturer $2 to mold. The pre-2015 version used metal and nylon blades and lasted 15 to 25 years. The ABS plastic version delaminates from repeated exposure to hot water. The blades shred. The fragments clog the drain pump. What began as gradual performance loss, dishes coming out dirty, standing water, ends in a full sump pump replacement. That repair runs $150 to $300, and Bosch discontinues parts after 7 years. The part number 002-65548 will disappear from their catalog long before your machine reaches the end of what should have been its useful life. And that is just the first layer of the scam. So now the part has failed. You call a technician. And this is where the trap closes completely. First, understand what modern appliance diagnostics now require. The industry has moved to proprietary software locks. Manufacturers have introduced service applications that require paid subscriptions or authorized credentials to access. Without them, a technician cannot read the error codes on your machine. They are not locking out thieves. They are locking out independent repair professionals, the ones who charge fair prices, and funneling you toward authorized service centers that charge manufacturer-dictated labor rates. The workforce itself has been hollowed out. The average age of an appliance repair technician in this country is in the mid-40s, and the training pipeline to replace retiring workers is thin because the manufacturers have made independent repair economically unviable. One industry analyst described it plainly. It is like garage mechanics working on Teslas. The skills required to service a heat pump dryer, which now require a refrigeration technician, not an appliance technician, are not the skills the existing workforce has. That complexity is not an accident. It is a moat. The warranty itself is a trap with paperwork. Samsung voids your warranty if you allow anyone outside their authorized service network to touch the machine. So if you find an independent technician who can actually fix it, you lose your warranty coverage. You are legally bound to the most expensive option. And when you push back, when you file a complaint, when you pursue legal remedy, there is a binding arbitration clause in the warranty documentation you signed when you registered the product. You waived your right to sue. The settlement you might have been entitled to is capped, in most cases, at $100 per unit. $100 on an $800 machine that failed in 4 years by design. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act governs how warranties must be disclosed and prohibits manufacturers from voiding your warranty simply because you used an independent repairer or non-brand name parts. But it has no enforcement mechanism with teeth around parts availability. Several states have moved to close this gap. New York and California enacted right-to-repair legislation in 2023, with California's law taking effect in 2024, and Minnesota followed the same year. Colorado passed similar legislation in 2024. Federal right to repair legislation is stalled in Congress. In most states, the manufacturer can discontinue your part tomorrow, and there is nothing you can do about it. So if the entire market is rigged against you, does that mean you give up? No. It means you stop shopping like a consumer and start thinking like an auditor. There are specific machines still built to be repaired, and the math on buying them is not even close. Speed Queen top-load washers are the clearest example in the market today. They are built by Appliance Laundry Systems, a company that makes commercial laundromat equipment. The more affordable models use simple mechanical controls rather than a digital control board. When something fails, you buy a part. That part will be available for 25 years or more because Speed Queen has built its entire commercial business around parts availability. Their top-load machines cost roughly $1,500 to $1,700 at retail. The 10-year total cost of ownership, including minimal repairs, runs well below what a mainstream Whirlpool or Samsung washer costs over the same period, factoring in 1 or 2 replacements and repair attempts. Speed Queen is not the expensive option, it is the cheap option, stretched across time. For refrigerators, the pre-2005 commercial-grade units, sub-zero compressor systems, true reciprocating designs, are worth sourcing used. The compressors are rebuildable. The parts are standard. A used unit from that era, properly serviced, will outlast 2 new machines. If you are buying in the mainstream market today, prioritize mechanical simplicity over features. Every Wi-Fi connection, every touchscreen interface, every AI cooking algorithm is a failure point with a proprietary part behind it. A dryer with a mechanical dial and a heating element is a machine you can fix. A dryer with an app and a heat pump compressor is a machine that will require a refrigeration specialist when the evaporator coil fails, and that part will be discontinued before you finish paying for it. Look at manufacture dates. Before the Whirlpool-Maytag merger in 2006 is the pre-consolidation era for that family of brands. Before Haier's acquisition of GE Appliances in 2016, independent reliability tracking documented a meaningful drop in GE appliance quality in the years following. These are not opinions. These are documented patterns. Buy before the acquisition. Buy the commercial grade. Buy the mechanical over the digital. Here is the verdict. Your grandfather bought one refrigerator. It ran for 30 years. He had a repairman who could fix it with parts from a shelf. That world did not disappear because we lost the engineering knowledge. It disappeared because it was less profitable than the world we have now. The industry has built a perfect machine, not for washing your clothes or cooling your food, but for extracting your money in a continuous loop of failure, repair denial, and forced replacement. Stop buying the marketing. Start buying the physics. Own the machine. Do not let the machine own you.